Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. Here we bring you up to date with NAFDAC's activities with regards to its mandate of safeguarding the health of the nation. I'm your host. My name is Tosin Adebayo. June 7 of every year is marked all over the world as World Food Safety Day. And every year, NAFDAC and indeed Nigeria joins the rest of the world in marking this very important day. After all, we are what we eat. This year's theme, Safer Food, Better Health, couldn't be more apt as NAFDAC relentlessly continues to campaign and draw attention of all Nigerians to issues of food safety that are being contravened in the country. One such major contravention is the use of medicines like paracetamol to soften meat.
It was a little crazy for me to hear that people are using Panadol or paracetamol to cook food. Is weird that we use the word weird. Because what can we not do then if we are now throwing Panadol into the pot to soften the meat? Paracetamol is acetaminophen, pharmaceutically, that's the word. And when it is heated, it changes to para-aminophenol. It is toxic to the kidney, toxic to the liver. So it is not like that paracetamol is going to keep at paracetamol after being heated for so long. Paracetamol, you can take up to 4 grams in one day, meaning you can take 500 milligram, which is, usual high strength. You can take 2 of it 4 times a day. That's 500 milligrams, 2 tablets, 1 gram, 4 days. But that is for a short time. If somebody is in the habit of using this to cook, it's not paracetamol that the person is taking. The person is taking the byproducts. They are taking the toxic byproducts. And they are not just taking it for 2 days. It has become part of their own regimen in terms of cooking. So when you talk of paracetamol with, use during cooking, you are talking of very, very hot temperature. Usually when we are doing tests to see how fast a drug will be released, once it's taken, we use 37 degrees, which is very warm water, but it's not hot. So we even in the lab, we use not room temperature water, we use warm water to test how fast the drug is going to be released. Heat breaks it down to para-aminophenol, benzoquine. All these byproducts are dangerous. They are toxic because it is not now that you did it only once. If it becomes a pattern, then you start taking the toxic byproducts on a daily basis or weekly basis or for life. And before you know it, the kidney is compromised, is damaged, the liver is damaged. So what we eat can make us to depend on medicine. Because once you have compromised kidney, compromised liver, then you have to keep using medicine. Why? Because I want to eat soft cow leg. It's not worth it. There are so many ways to soften cow leg or pomo or whatever. Use pressure cooker, use tenderizer, ingredients that have been purposely made to tenderize, not drugs. You can cook for a longer time, it's just a matter of patience. But to use drugs to cook food is setting ourselves up for early grave. Because once the kidney is damaged, the liver is gone, all the other organs will start packing up. So that is death, knocking on the door. So we just have to think through and say that which one is better for somebody's life to be compromised or the kidney or the liver to be compromised compared to saving pennies or naira or whatever by making it faster. So it is everybody, the people that are cooking the food, the people that the food is being sold to, So it is knowing that we cannot cut corners with our health. we cannot cut corners, because one day we're going to end up, that person is going to end up in the hospital. That person may die early. So it is all looking at, the side effects or the eventual outcomes that may come with cooking with drugs like paracetamol.
It is essential that we pay attention to how the food we eat is prepared. And when we eat out, we must ensure and insist that food vendors adhere to food safety standards.
I went to the restaurant and I was going to buy cow food or whatever, and I asked them, did you have paracetamol? And they said no. So we have to be able to ask people. Because if you add paracetamol, I'm not going to buy. Which means you are now making the person that cooked to think that if people know that he or she is using paracetamol, they may not. So it is all awareness, making them to know that you know what is good for you. And you're going to ask questions. So we should be guarded with asking questions for what we buy, or the source of the food, whether drug is used or not.
The illicit practice of using medicines like paracetamol to cook food converts these medicines into poisonous substances that endanger the health of its consumers.
When you cook paracetamol, it gets hydrolyzed, it is broken down, and it is no longer the chemical paracetamol that we know. It gets converted to what we call 4-aminophenol. 4-aminophenol is a very toxic substance to the liver, to the kidney, and to some other organs in the body. And when that happens and it accumulates over time, it leads to health challenges. Little wonder that we have quite a number of cases of people coming down with kidney failure, liver disease in our society today. And it's even more alarming when you consider the fact that there are people who leave the comfort of their own home and they go to patronize eateries and restaurants. And some of these eateries and restaurants we are hearing that some of them actually engage in this very mind-boggling act of using paracetamol to cook meat. There are some enzymes contained in certain fruits like kiwi, pineapple, ginger. I mean, women, our mothers use ginger to cook meat anyway, and that also goes a long way to help to soften meat when you cook. So these are other methods rather than engage in some methods that could lead to health hazards.
Paracetamol, or any other medicine for that matter, cannot be cooked or used as a food additive. Therefore, NAFDAC enjoins Nigerians to be alert and informed in order to safeguard public health.
Recently, there have been so many food poisoning issues, ranging from people mistaking fertilizers for food seasoning, people using bleach in fufu preparation. Then the majority of these issues are people who display food products that are meant to be prepackaged. They display them in the open, in bowls, and use measures to dish them out for sale. And people patronize them. We have issues of milk in the open. We have issues of sugar in the open. And nobody knows. They display everything. You can get to the market now and see detergent in one bowl. You see elubo in one bowl. You see sugar in another bowl. And by the time they measure, sometimes they can use the same cup to do the measurement. So it's subject to cross-contamination. Some people use, this issue of preservation of agricultural products, food products, like the beans. We all know that our beans have issues of high pesticide residue. The beans product in Nigeria now has been banned from European market as a result of high pesticide residue. And we still use pesticide to preserve these beans. Many of our merchants, many of our food vendors, they use what we call sniper. It's diclovos, but the popular name is sniper. They use it, they spray it on the beans so that weevils will not infest those foods. And it's highly, highly dangerous. It contaminates and leads to food poison.
NAFDAC continues to vigorously go after these perpetrators of food contamination. All over the country, officers of the agency raid markets, shops, production facilities of all kinds to root out fake and unwholesome food products.
The strength of a regulatory agency also lies in the enforcement. In fact, if there is no enforcement, there will not be a regulatory agency, because a regulatory agency is supposed to enforce or to control, of course, the regulatory activities, and to enforce, to ensure that people do not violate the regulations. Therefore, enforcement is extremely important in NAFDAC, but it is not just as part of our regular activities. The Federal Task Force C-34 law is domiciled in NAFDAC. The headquarters of the Federal Task Force is in NAFDAC. And it is supposed to, the Federal Task Force is supposed to control, to ensure there are no fake medicines in the country, no unwholesome foods in the country. And with that Federal Task Force headquarters in Lagos, you have 36 state task forces. So enforcement is so important for NAFDAC as a regulatory agency, but in terms of food, drugs, chemicals, and all the things, that it is extremely important for the country. That is part of the reason why it was domiciled. It has been domiciled in NAFDAC.
NAFDAC's mandate for safeguarding the health of the nation requires that the agency ensure that Nigerians are consuming safe food, drugs, and other regulated products. Therefore, when food products like cornflakes and other products are being adulterated and repackaged in unsafe, unhygienic situations, exposed to the atmosphere, they become unsafe for consumption and may become sources of illness, and in cases where there is poisoning, it may result in fatalities. But the agency is always at alert to carry out its enforcement responsibilities any time of the day. We'll take a short break now. Don't go away.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You're watching NAFDAC and your health. As part of its regulatory enforcement activities, NAFDAC Kaduna State recently beefed up massive surveillance on bread bakeries in the state, with a view to ascertain their compliance to lay down procedures and standards, during which not less than 13 bakeries were placed on hold and their owners invited for further questioning as first line of sanctions in respect of violations, notably among which are poor hygiene, use of substandard production equipment, gross labeling lapses, production with expired license, production without license, unauthorized factory relocation, which are all highly unacceptable. In other enforcement activities, officers of the agency recently also nabbed unwholesome food peddlers who were caught in the act while dispensing palm oil using petrol tankers and other drums previously used for chemicals.
In the course of our pharmacovigilance and surveillance activities, we busted into a premises where vegetable oil is being sold, and on further investigation we discovered that they use petrol tanker to convey vegetable oil from Kano State to Plateau State. So this activity normally will be carried out in the night, and our officers were informed and we had to go there, even it was a weekend and a night, and we were still able to get this distributor right on time, trying to discharge the content of the tanker. And in a very, very unhygienic environment, we were able to accost, and then further investigation, we were able to discover that this was the usual practice, that the oil will be conveyed from the source, which was Kano State according to the person, and will be brought to Plateau State, where it will be poured into those tanks that you saw in the picture. We arrested the distributor, and he was the one that was able to give us the information of how the activity was being carried out.
All of these signals that we must all be mindful of what we consume and where we purchase them.
These oils, both the groundnut and the palm oil, they are conveyed in unhygienic way. This is bad distribution practices, which the agency is working against, and we will still continue to sensitize the public, both the distributors and the consumers, on the inherent danger of such practices. A product that is produced under a good hygienic practices can be contaminated due to poor distribution practices, because the containers, the storage, and every other thing that go into a product is very important to guarantee the safety.
In the north, NAFDAC has also found dangerous sharp practices where unwholesome rice products are rebagged in bags belonging to brands that are duly registered by the agency.
This is a practice that we have seen on the field as well. We discovered that individual sellers, people who are just interested in money, they go get rice that are not processed, they are not destoned, all kinds of rice. They just go and get bags of already registered products. Mention some of these big rice millers that have gone through the process of NAFDAC registration. They will go and get their bags. The bags are freely sold in the market. Even some of these companies that are no longer in existence, we still get them, and these market people will go and just rebaggage. They'll put all this rice, and when you buy the rice, you see NAFDAC number, you see manufacturer's address. Meanwhile, it is not true. So it is very conspicuous, and we have actually discovered a number of them on the field while we are working. All the general public should please help NAFDAC. I'm sure we have such millers all around the places. We have them in the marketplaces. Those who just, all they do is to rebaggage. Report to NAFDAC any sharp practices that you discovered in your neighborhood, and this will help us that together we will fight against all manner of practices that can jeopardize the health of the nation.
At a press conference, the DG drew the attention of the general public to other issues of food contamination, like using carbide to ripen fruits and so many others.
Chemicals don't hurt. We are not stones or made of steel. Even if you put a chemical on steel for a long time, it will start changing. Not to talk of a physiologic complexity that we are, all of us. So in terms of carbide, we've done a lot of stakeholders meeting with the different associations, the local market associations. But it is not something we do one time. We have to keep doing it to make sure that this resonates well with them and is reinforced. In terms of punitive action, we have to catch them doing it, and that is where you and I are important. If we know that a particular place is using carbide, now we have toll-free number. It's a matter of calling, and somebody will pick it up, the call, describe where the person or the thing is taking place. We will go there because we cannot be in all places. This is a societal community action. So we implore our viewers to be active in terms of reporting, because without that, all of us are in danger. There's nowhere that you write carbide on a plantain or orange. But if people know, we will educate them, first of all. Because of course, some people are, maybe greedy, they want shortcut, they want things to ripe faster. But if they know that even the way they do it themselves, they are putting their own lives in danger. At a point, they will start thinking, is it quick ripening or my life or my kidney or my liver? So these are the things that we're going to put in place or continue to put in place.
NAFDAC wishes to assure Nigerians that the agency will not rest on its oars, but continue to rise up to the occasion and remain one step ahead of those who will stop at nothing to endanger the health of the people for their own selfish gains. Here is where we draw the curtains on this edition of the program. Join us same time, same station next week for another informative package. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food products peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email, reforms@nafdac.gov.ng, or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. Importing, producing, distributing and selling fake drugs and cosmetics, adulterated food and so on are criminal activities that destroy lives. Join the fight against these heinous crimes by reporting any suspicious activity in your area to NAFDAC. Let's join hands to safeguard the health of our nation. See you next week. Stay safe.